In the early spring of 2026, we did a Viking British Isles Explorer cruise. We hit ports in London, Liverpool, England, Dublin, Belfast, Holyhead, Ullapool, the Orkney Islands, Edinburgh, Aberdeen, the Shetland Islands, and ending in Bergen, Norway. There is another video about the Orkney Islands and the Viking ruins and the scale house. This one shows the other sites along the bus ride and the countryside. This is of the islands and of Kirkwall. And as you can see, it rained off and on during this particular portion of the trip. Instead of a single founder, Orkney itself was settled by successive waves of Norwegian chieftains and pirates in the late 8th and 9th centuries. Rather than displacing locals, the Vikings integrated with the native Picts and quickly established a dominant Norse foothold used to launch raids across the North Sea. I think these are called the Ring of Brodgar. I would appreciate if anyone would tell me if that's right or wrong. But there's been limited archaeological investigations at the ring, so they don't know its age for sure. In the absence of scientific dates, their best guess is that the main ring was constructed sometime around 2600 to 2400 BC. The surrounding burial mounds and stone settings likely date from between 2500 and 1500 BC. Either way, right or wrong, it's an amazing sight even in the rain. The Orkney Islands were bombed during World War II because they were home to the vital Royal Navy Fleet base at Scapa Flow. The islands were heavily targeted by the Luftwaffe and became highly fortified. Kirkwall is the largest town and capital of Orkney, very well known for its Viking history. It's also a big transport hub with ferries to other islands. Its name means Church Bay, referring to the older St. Olaf's Church, or Kirk. It has a small walkable center with shops, restaurants, and attractions like the Orkney Museum and the Highland Park Distillery. We actually had lunch here instead of going back to the ship. The town was founded by St. Olaf in around 1046 and was a significant Norse settlement and trading post. With a culture influenced by its Norwegian past, and it still sort of heavily is, there are still remnants of the initial St. Olaf's Church. St. Magnus Church, or St. Magnus Cathedral, known as the Light in the North, was founded in 1137 by the King Earl Rognvald in honor of his uncle St. Magnus, who was martyred here in Orkney. The cathedral was originally a Roman Catholic cathedral, and it is also the oldest cathedral in Scotland and the most northerly cathedral in the entire United Kingdom. It's a fine example of Romanesque architecture with later Gothic additions, built when the islands were ruled by the Norse Earls of Orkney as a semi-autonomous part of the Kingdom of Norway. Although construction began in 1137, it was added to over and over in the next 300 years. Before the Scottish Reformation, the cathedral was presided over by the Bishop of Orkney. Today it is a parish church of the Church of Scotland, which is a Presbyterian system of church governance. The cathedral has its own dungeon. People accused of witchcraft in Orkney from 1594 to 1708 were usually incarcerated in the cathedral, with their trials also held here. This guy, uncharacteristically lying on his side instead of his back, is the 19th century Arctic explorer Dr. John Rae, dressed in Inuit clothing and holding a rifle. He was a Scottish doctor and Hudson's Bay Company's surveyor who mapped large portions of the Canadian Arctic. St. Olaf is King Olaf Haraldsson of Norway, a fierce Viking warlord turned Christian saint. In Kirkwall, he is celebrated as a foundational figure in Norse Christianity and holds a deep historical connection to St. Magnus Cathedral. And actually, before St. Magnus Cathedral was built, there was a St. Olaf Church. The tower next to the church is part of the Earl's Palace, built in the early 1600s. You can go up there, but I didn't realize it at the time, so too late now. On to Aberdeen.